Well, crap. So that just happened. Tavish, my son, drove it into a parking cement pillar thing and initially did a little bit of damage to it, and then I took it through a car wash. The car wash whipped around, grabbed a hold of it, pulled it off. So today's project is fixing that in a permanent way so that it doesn't come off again in a car wash or any other way. So if you have a Toyota Corolla year 2003 through 2008 or 9, this is a 2008. The Sport model, the S model, it has these little side wing things on it, and they do sometimes pop off. They're a bugger to find a good one to replace with, so we're going to fix this before that becomes a problem. So, first thing, let's get it pulled into the garage, or into the driveway, get the bumper pulled off of it, and we'll start from there. And it's cold out here, so I'm going to get this thing ripped off, and I'm going to take this thing off the car. I'm going to rip it off and move into the garage to actually do the work. So now that we're out of the elements, we can take a look at this thing and see what we're up against. You can leave the grill in place. I'm actually going to be painting this bumper. Got to keep in mind that this car has well over 200,000 miles on it. It's completely paid for. I'm not putting a whole bunch of money into it. A little rattle can action on this. And this is the part where my son hit that parking barrier, and it basically popped the clips loose from the top, but it cracked them as well. So you need access behind it in order to kind of do a permanent repair. So I'm going to flip this thing over, take a closer look at it. But this thing has really major rock chips and all sorts of discoloration on it. The rest of the car actually looks decent. Let's flip this over, see what the backside looks like, and determine how we're going to fix this. So I'm going to try to show this and hold the camera as still as possible so that you can see what I'm pointing at. This is the top side of the bumper, that's the bottom side. This is the flare piece that we're working with. You can see that there's access holes right here and right here, if I can get the right angles. And there's supposed to be tabs on the trim piece that are supposed to go through that and actually clip in. Those are completely missing, they're broken off. You can see one of those tabs is down here, it lines up with this hole. So I've got to remanufacture something to help that attach. I'll probably also put a screw through right here that'll help hold that all together. This is all plastic. And then one more thing that I noticed just right away, this little tab that goes in between this lower vent piece is bent clear back. It's supposed to look, wow, that's going to be really hard to see. But anyway, it's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be lined up with this one and come straight through that gap, that opening. So here's the one it's supposed to be lined up with, and you can see it's bent over. These are the clips, the retaining clips that hold it in place. There. Right now, only one is holding it in place. So I'm going to get that thing off. There's a retainer there as well. get this removed completely from the car and look at the plastic itself. So what I've decided to do is use a plastic welding kit. I got this at Harbor Freight, fairly cheap. I can't remember what I paid, $15 maybe. But it comes with all of the things you need to do a plastic bumper repair. I used this on our 2008, take that back, it's our 2007 Corolla when I did the Rust-Oleum paint job on that. Repair on a crack just to help hide it. Again, these are cheap cars, kid cars, they're not perfect renditions. I know that if you spent a whole bunch more time than I did, you could make a better repair than I did on that video, but I'll put a link to it up there so you can see that. You can just watch the little clip of using this if you need to. But I need to get this put back into place. Basically, I've already done this, but you scrub and clean the parts where you're going to be welding to, plastic welding to, just so that it has something good to kind of stick to. When I put this on, it's not going to be removable like this one over here is. These clips can still be taken off. I need to put enough material to hold it so that when car washes and whatever are bumping up against it, and hopefully if we ever hit another curb, it'll hold it as well. So let's get this put back on. I'll get the camera set up and do a little time lapse of using the welder. I've already got it plugged in and heating up. It's a super simple tool, nothing too technical about it. You'll see how easy this is. This is the welding rod, the welding stick. It's just plastic that you melt and mash down as you go. Super easy. Let's put this back on. I also bent this tab back to the general position that it'll be in. Will at least go through the hole, and then I can fine tune where it's aiming, etc. That was the screw that was already there. That's not the new screw I'm going to be putting in. I didn't spend any time at all making it pretty. I just wanted to melt the plastic enough to adhere to both sides and build the clip portion of it up enough that it couldn't go back through the hole. So now we're going to test it and see how rigid it is. Yeah, it stays on pretty good. I'm still going to add a screw up here because there's nothing to weld to over here on this side. It's holding tight. The gap looks good all the way around. Let's get a screw in that, and then we'll start some basic sanding to get some of this rough stuff cleaned up. Prep it for some Rattle can. That's what we're going to use. Is just a white, kind of a metallic gloss. I used it on one of these once before. It's that one, and you can see it's not a perfect match, but it's close enough that nobody's ever noticed or said anything. And I'm just going to do it again and call it good. Got a screw put in that, just as I promised. And if this is all the repair that yours needs, you can just stick this thing right back on the car at this point and you're done. Because mine is ugly and needs to be touched up paint-wise, just because it's such an eyesore. The rest of the car looks pretty darn good, but this is just an eyesore. I'm going to take this one step farther, sand it down, just a rough scuff, and then Rattle can paint white. That used to be chrome. That looks way better than it did. That used to be chrome. Used to have a chrome lip around the edge. I just painted the whole thing black. Painted this white. Give it a little more contrast. And delete some chrome. Let's put the whole thing back together and we're ready for that. Grill piece into there. Open the garage door and get on the car. Let's do it. Okay, you guys all remember what it looked like before, right? It may not be perfect, but it's way better than it was. There is a little bit of a gap right along there. I probably could have paid a little closer attention and gotten that dialed in a little closer. Grill looks fantastic. It makes the hood look like crap. We might end up having to paint the hood too. At some point, we're not doing that today. There was a bunch of discoloration behind where the license plate used to be. It's not a perfect color match, but it's close enough. Looks pretty good. So that's how I fixed the spoiler on our Toyota Corolla S. This is a 2007 model. It's got 248,000 miles, I think it is, on it. Something like that. So it's well used. It's completely paid for. So it's nothing special, but we're now going to town in style. If you like videos like this, please like, share, subscribe, do all those things. That helps me out immensely, more than you know. I appreciate that. Be sure and subscribe, click that little bell. That does something fancy, I'm sure. And that said, see you guys in the next video. Thank you.